Hello, my dear students. Today we are going to learn a very interesting story. Its title is Should Wizard Hit Mommy by John Updike. So let's understand about the details of the writer before moving towards this story. Let's begin. The writer is John Updike. About the writer. John Hoyer Updike was born in Reading in Pennsylvania, USA in 1932. Updike is a versatile writer and his oeuvre includes novels, poetry, and short stories. He is also a literary critic of renown. John Updike has over 50 literary books of a variety of genre to his credit, including an autobiographical piece, A Dogwood Tree, A Boywood. He is internationally known for his novel and deal with the life of Harry Rabbit Angstrom, a star athlete. His Harry Rabbit novels are Rabbit Run, which was published in the year 1960, Rabbit Redux 1971, Rabbit is Rich in 1981, and Rabbit at Rest 1990 are very popular. John Updike's childhood was clouded by psoriasis. Students, we need to focus in this paragraph, okay, in order to understand the story. Psoriasis is a skin disease that creates patches and stammering. And he was an object of ridicule of his classmates. But his mother was a great source of encouragement for him. He owes his literary achievements to the moral support he received from her. Let's move towards the story now. Let's discuss the introduction of the chapter. Should Wizard Hit Mommy by John Updike is a story within a story, where the father has been narrating the child the same story of a creature named Roger over and over again for the past 2 years, with a small variation here and there. The oft repeated story arouses no curiosity, and the child knows what is going to ensue next. Yet she listens to it with interest and is excited about what is going to come next. In spite of the repetitive monotony of story, the child applies her mind wholeheartedly and points out even a small lapse on the father's part instantaneously. In the middle of the story, she raises a difficult moral question for which the father does not have any convincing answer. The protagonists of the story are Jack, who is father of Joe. Full name of Joe is John, okay, and Claire is the name of the mother, and Joe is the daughter of the. Now let's discuss the character sketch of Jack. Jack is not innovative while narrating stories. His stories lacked variety and spice. He failed to impress even small daughter with his stories. Narration was repetitive and not a precocious child suffered humiliations in childhood. Here, as I told you all, Jack represents the author John Updike, who suffered humiliations as a child owing to psoriasis and stammering. He had great respect for his mother. According to him, mothers are supreme, and whatever they do for the betterment of her children. Let's move towards the character sketch of Joan or Joe. She represents a modern child who is pampered by parents. She is Papa's daughter. She is avid listener, apt listener, thrilled and tickled by trifles. She sheds tears, which shows her attentiveness. She is emotionally attached with the character of the story. She is very inquisitive child. She does not take things for granted. She is surrounded by reason and logic. It is because she has become matured now. Her mental growth is at peak. She is critical of magic spells being real in life. She reposes full confidence on her father. She cannot bear injustice, which is done to the character in the story. Convinced by She is not convinced by father when he says mothers are always right. Jo resembles her mother in appearance and mannerism too. It means mother was also irritating for Jack and daughter as well. This is the similarity which Jack had seen in mother and daughter both. She is an intelligent child capable of independent thinking. Let's move towards theme of the story. Here the writer John Updike talks about what is natural is not disgraceful. Okay? Here it means individual identity. We should never lose our identity for something else. The faults that we have in our personality, our culture, our society should be changed. But whatever is natural, it should not be changed altogether in order to lead a comfortable life. Next is childhood experience, failures, and complexes. Here it talks about child's innocence. A child is very innocent. What they see the world in a very straight way. And adults are so complicated. They have so many things to consider. Therefore, they are not able to come to a conclusion very easily. But in the case of children, it is not so. Here, adult complexes are because of work, household chores, and parenting. Work already exhausts people, okay, and household work as well, which irritates female members, and then parenting is also not easy. Because of this storytelling through which he wanted to give moral lessons to the child, it had become very fatiguing for Jack. Therefore it is very difficult, and because of these things adults are finding complexities in their life as well. And another theme is that mothers are always right. Whatever mothers do, they before doing that they think about the pros and cons of the things because it affects their child. Another point that is discussed here is distancing between a couple. From the story we learn children have their own identity, views, and attitude. Elders should not brush aside queries of a child, questions, and opinions. If the child's approach is erroneous, one should appeal to his reasoning rather than to force them to see the adult's viewpoint by using threat and coercive methods. We should honor, value, and accept all creatures, high or low, gleefully. Here you can go through the difficult words and mark its meaning in the book so that it will be easier for you all while reading the story. Here as well, this is the second page of the meanings. Let's move towards the main story now. This story deals with a child's view of the world and the difficult moral questions she raises during the story session with her father. Jack had become accustomed to, or putting it more precisely, obligated to telling stories out of his head to his daughter John during the evenings and Saturday afternoons. This itself was now 2 years old, and John had been it started. These stories were almost the same except for some slight variations. It started with a creature usually named Rosa. Rosa fish, Rosa squirrel, Rosa skunk, Rosa chipmunk, etc., who had some problem and went with it to the wise owl. The owl directed him to go to the wizard who would solve his problem in exchange for a few pennies more than the creature had. In the same breath, would direct the creature to go to a place where he would find it. Then the Roger creature would be happy and would return home just in time to hear the train whistle that brought his daddy home from Boston. The story revolves around the conflicting views of a child and parent on the child's future. Parents express their own expectations. They desire that their children would grow up as per expectations. However, children have their own ambitions and aspirations. Jack used to tell his little daughter Jo bedtime stories. When she grew a little older, she began to ask a number of questions. For some time, Jack was not able to invent new stories. Thus, the basic story was the same as its hero changed. The hero, a small animal known as Rosa, meets an owl with his problem. The owl directs Roger to the wizard. The wizard solved problem with his magic wand. Roger felt good. He played along with animals of the woodland, but when his father used to come back, he went back home, eat supper with him. Jo feels happy with this ending. Later, her father told the story of a little animal, Rosa skunk. Just like other heroes of his stories, even a skunk has a problem. Even a skunk has a problem. He used to smell awfully bad. The wizard made him smell like roses, and little animals liked him and played with him. Jo was again happy. However, Skunk's mother wanted Skunk to get back his original smell. She took him back to the wizard. The wizard again made Skunk smell awful as ever. Skunk's mother was happy. However, Jo was not happy at all. She desired that the wizard should hit the stupid mummy. However, Jack defended the mother's action. Students, here the question arises, whose action was right? Mother's or the wizard's? Now here, the ending was realistic and seems to suggest that everything in this world merits acceptance and one must have flexibility enough to get used to everything. The way woodland creatures get used to the skunk smell and accept him in their fold. It would therefore appeal more to grown up and mature listeners and also to those who know about Jack's relationship with his mother and his humiliating childhood experiences. Now, this was about Jack's view towards this story and the way of life. Now, let's come to Joe's perspective. The world view of a child like Joe is very different. There is no injustice, no evil, and no suffering. Everything is good and awesome. Although Joe has turned 4 and has already started questioning about everything, the innocent child is hurt to hear that Mother Skunk spanks the wizard and forces him to change her son's smell back into an awful one. Joe feels that it is gross injustice to Rosa Skunk and he would lose his friends and happiness because of the smell again. Finding it too hard to accept, Joe wants her father to change the ending of the story by making the wizard spank the mother for wicked thoughts and by making Rosa live happily ever after with his new smell and friends. Students, I hope the story is clear to you. We will meet with the question answer of this particular story, which will help you all in the examination. Till then, we meet. Take care. Bye bye.